discussing the Tesla Q3 earnings call that just got published today. Overall, a very positive call because they said a few things that we are very focused on. For example, Musk spoke about the Tesla reality simulator for RL. This is incredibly important for, I think anybody in AI can appreciate the importance of that because we've said that many times on this podcast. We believe that the future of real world AI is going through generative AI and iterations in simulation, and that's what Tesla's working on. So that was very encouraging. Also, Musk spoke about unsupervised FSD. He actually used the one example that I always use, which is FSD plus texting equals unlimited demand for cars. What does that mean in reality is that I think you can talk to people about FSD as much as you want and about AI 4 and 5 and inference efficiency and whatnot. Nobody cares. Nobody buys a car because it has a strong inference computer. Nobody buys a PC because it has a M5 chip by Apple. What people want is solutions to problems. So one of the solutions to one of the biggest problems for most people when they drive cars is they want to do stuff, and mostly what that means is they want to do stuff on the phone. Texting and watching YouTube are probably two most important activities. You can maybe throw in there Instagram and things like that for younger people. So if you can do that and drive, you have a solution for a big problem, and I think that's what Musk mentioned. So the world simulator for RL, FSD plus texting, and then a third thing that he said which is bring reasoning to the car. I think that's being underestimated right now, what that actually means. And it's also an engineering challenge because if you have, you can have a reasoning, you can have Grok 5 on a car, but you can't fit it on a car. That's the problem. So in other words, how do you bring the kind of reasoning where the car has sentience ability? So it understands that it's next to a school. It has to be slower than, let's say, next to a factory where there's nobody, even though the buildings are the same, but the school is not factory and the factory is not a school. Musk actually spoke about the example of finding a parking spot, and let's say you drive up to Whole Foods and there's a parking spot right next to the door, then you might just park there. But if there's no parking spot and it scans the lot and it understands it has to go down to the garage, it will just drop you at the entrance and go and park. So that kind of reasoning is really powerful if you think about it. So I think that was very encouraging. Also, he spoke about the AI 5 chip and the intelligence density, which is something that comes quite a bit now with Musk and his his statements about Tesla. What does AI 4, AI 5, and AI 6, what does that all mean? And the direction that it's going is towards AI density. So intelligence per dollar, intelligence per watt, intelligence per gigabyte. Intelligence is the ability to solve problems, the computational part of solving problems. We use the Marcus Hitter definition of intelligence. And it doesn't really matter whether Tesla is using the same definition. In principle, it's the same thing. You have to create environments in which you can run counterfactuals and make decisions in relatively fast time when those counterfactuals come up. So when you're presented with a picture or a sequence of images from the cameras, you have to infer what to do next, and that is the intelligence per watt. So how many counterfactuals can I run and decisions can I make per gigabyte or per watt or per dollar? And that's what intelligence is going to be. So can I actually reason? Do I have time to reason? Do I have the power budget to reason while I'm making those decisions? That's going to be, and they're working towards that. And I think that's incredibly exciting. So I think that was very, very powerful. Musk spoke about some technical details about how they're actually making their AI chips more efficient. He was talking about deletions. So, for example, that they can fit AI 5 in half a reticle, which is a sort of a measure of containment for chips. with a good margin for traces from memory to the Tesla accelerators. So in other words, you have connections between the arithmetic logic unit and the memory, and those lanes are very optimized, and there's enough space between them that you don't have bit flips and things like that, and you still have good performance. ARM CPU, which is the coordinator, and then PCI blocks. That is the PCI blocks, kind of peripheral things, probably even connecting to the sensor suite and things like that. So that was pretty technical. I think Musk always likes to drop some Easter eggs for hardware people, for software people, and this was definitely one of them. I guess we can't emphasize enough the importance of this. This is probably the most important takeaway in this call, that we're now looking at a company that is becoming very sophisticated at edge inference. Maybe that's the most important takeaway. So, Tesla started as a car company, then a software company, then an energy company, then an AI company. It's now an edge AI company. And the reason it's an edge AI company is because it's building software and hardware for robots to move around in the real world. And that's unique. Nobody's doing that at scale. There's competitors, of course, but nobody's doing that at scale. So that's very, very exciting. Before we go, maybe one more thing I want to say is just Grok 5 will be way too large for you will not have Grok on a car, but you can have some complementaries, such as, for example, voice. I think that's almost goes without saying. In terms of numbers, they beat on sales, they underperformed on earnings, and that's because the SG&A expenses are going much higher because of AI, and that's particularly training compute and also salaries. So there's some negativity there. I guess Tesla is being hit by the talent war, and we can see that in the numbers. Also, the outlook is going to be difficult now, but I think as investors, we're laser focused on AI, Tesla as an AI edge company, fully integrated AI edge company. I think Musk made that very clear, and I think in the near term we're going to have unsupervised, at least robotaxi by the end of the year. And with unsupervised robotaxi, the chances of an unsupervised FSD are going up. I think that is going to release a lot of demand for Teslas, and particularly, for people, let's say, with hardware 3 will definitely switch to hardware 4, things like that. So there's definitely a roadmap towards also better monetization in the near term. So overall, we think that's actually a very, very positive call. Stock's down 4% after hours, probably driven by the miss in earnings, and also them mentioning a competition in energy, which is fine. That is something you have to live with as an investor, that some business lines will be more competitive than others. Energy is probably more of an engineering challenge. There's lots of demand for energy, so that's good. The market is growing, the pie is getting bigger. Competition just means maybe a gross margin pressure, something like that. The market's just reacted on this. But what we're really, really excited about, again, is Tesla reality simulator for RL, unsupervised FSD, and a roadmap towards a fully integrated AI 5 and an AI 6 with higher intelligence density, which is what's required for an effective real-world AI company. Thank you.